Welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, it's still Daybreak Africa. And like I told us before we went on the report, that today's topic is going to be one that is kind of very sensitive. Like I said earlier when we started the show, that this week in Nigeria is supposed to be a week of lots of violence here and there and all that. And one of the many topical issues that had been trending for over a week now in Nigeria happens to do with the issue between Dele Farotimi and Afe Babalola, which is a case of defamation between two leading personalities in the judicial system of Nigeria. You know, Dele Farotimi himself being an activist, and Afe Babalola being one of the most celebrated lawyers ever celebrated in Nigeria, actually. And according to the current violence, it emanates from a book written by Dele Farotimi himself, where he pointed out that Afe Babalola happens to be one of the very huge personalities who has affected the corruption in the judicial system. This he didn't only say in the book, he has also, you know, said it time and time again. And this time around, Afe Babalola thought of taking actions towards him. And yeah, he has met with lots of backlash actually from a lot of quarters from within the country, looking at the fact that the way Dele Farotimi was arrested, and currently the case being in court, the courts in Ekiti yesterday granted Dele Farotimi a 50 million naira bail requirement actually. And people have been coming out to talk about the fact that they saw Dele Farotimi himself in handcuffs and all that. Many of those things we are going to look at a rigmarole of many of the issues attached to this particular thing. And to discuss with us today, we have one of the leading legal practitioners in Ondo City, in Ondo State, in the person of Barrister Thompson Akinyemi, who happens also to be the former NBA chairman in Ondo West. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a while discussing with you, sir. It's been quite a long time actually. Okay. And I know, you know, looking at this particular topic,
to be here too.
Yeah, looked round in Ondo to look for one who could discuss this, and yes, here you are, sir. So let's delve down to this particular topic, Dele Farotimi versus Afe Babalola. When you first heard about the whole issue, how did you feel looking at the fact that both of them are both legal practitioners in the country as we speak, knowing the fully well that defamation itself is a punishable crime, though a civil matter in Nigeria?
Yeah. Well, when you're talking about the characters involved, that they are lawyers. Yes, they are lawyers. They know law. And you are talking about the person of Afe Babalola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Is a big icon when it comes to law. When you are talking about a Janjantuan, that is the person of Afe Babalola, SCN, in law, as Nigeria is concerned. Also, Dele Farotimi, Esquire, is also a lawyer of repute, being an activist. He has been, is an activist and is known in the legal profession in Nigeria too. So this is in the case of defamation which you are talking about, we know majorly, and in most cases a civil matter. Though at times you can say a defamation is also criminal. You can at times they go away by criminal. But majorly I can say is a civil matter in which you can go to court and simply somebody has defamed you or defamed me as a person. Now I can go to court, file a civil case against that person, especially in a libel, which is publication. We have in defamation, we have slander, we have defamation. It's about two. So in libel, it's a publication. It could be in a newspaper or books or any print media or anything. If it is it's a system, because that one is permanent, then you call it libel, which is actionable. You can, depending on the status of that person, the person can go to court against the person who has published that thing as a libel, that look at, you have defamed me, then this has damaged my reputation and my occupation, my jobs. Then you can seek for several, maybe even billions of naira, depending on the person that is involved and how far that person has done. So what I think in this matter, to my own, is that being that a case like this will go viral, will go viral, because I wouldn't know why the learned Afe Babalola, the senior advocate of Nigeria, as big as and is an old man, why he decided to go it public like this. Because anything criminal, when somebody like Dele Farotimi, any you that involves Dele Farotimi in Nigeria here, it will generate a lot of issues. It will generate a lot of issues. So I believe whether it would have been better the Are himself, a colossus in the legal profession in Nigeria, should have gone to civil, should have gone against Dele Farotimi in terms of civil, maybe demand that one who have gone quietly without anybody know. But arresting Dele Farotimi is the big issue in town, and you could as well see, in the media, that it has gone viral.
Extremely viral.
Yes, and even all over the world, I have some people are saying they are going to protest at the King's College, London. So that means I've even gone beyond the Nigerian shore here. So I just believe if Baba had gone to civil matter, gone again, just proceed against in which some of his lawyers can just file in
just on the undertone,
and at the end of the day is able to get judgment, then I believe this matter will not have gone viral like this. Because I don't know whichever way now, even if Baba at the end of the day, if they are, the prosecution now, the matter is between the prosecution now and Dele Farotimi, though another one has been also been filed at the Federal High Court against Dele Farotimi, while there is another one at the Ekiti State Magistrate Court, the one that came up today. So also going by that the criminal nature, if at the end of the day, if Dele Farotimi is convicted, I don't think the learned Baba Afe Babalola, the senior advocate of Nigeria, will enjoy any much, but people will still have complaints to make that well, they are just victim, as from people are saying now. What they are saying is that they are just victimizing him. They are just using state power against him. They are just exerting the influence of a powerful person against him. No doubt that can happen. We cannot rule that out. Even the judiciary we are talking about, we are lawyers. We know at times what goes on, that you cannot rule out the influence of people. That's why you see some people, they will even advocate against even awarding of a senior advocate of Nigeria to people that when they are immediately they attain that rank, then they use it to oppress all other lawyers in the rank and file, that we can call it. So people will say there are influence in this judiciary. We cannot rule it out that those who are so powerful in the legal profession will try to at least do some certain things to favor them because we are talking about cases in court. So be it political, be it civil cases or criminal cases or some other things, you cannot rule it out in this Nigeria. I'm telling you that I'm a lawyer. I know what at times goes on, that totally you cannot rule out influence, being some certain people sometimes influencing so many things. And we are in Nigeria. As at that.
Now the thing is, this very act tends to garner lots of uproar and reactions from every sphere in this country. You did tend to mention the need for approaching it in a mild manner, away from media attention and all that. But I tend to wonder, is it more like the approach Afe Babalola tend to take? Was it more like he should have actually taken a better approach? Was the process okay? The whole
arrest and everything.
Going to Lagos, picking him, bringing him down to Ekiti. Was there more like a better process around this?
Yeah, that's what I've just mentioned the other time.
No, you did tend to mention the need to actually maybe a little slide away from public ears. What I mentioned public ears per se. Was there any other alternative that would have been better?
Yes, I've mentioned that. I said whether the learned, the Afe Babalola, the senior advocate of Nigeria, but who have approached it civil, just as some of his lawyers in to file in a civil suit against Dele Farotimi, this wouldn't have, nobody would have known.
So do you think there was probably a personal vendetta against Dele Farotimi, for him to actually take this step? Is it more like
I won't say it's a personal vendetta, because I've told you earlier that defamation is either you can go civil or criminal.
Yeah.
I've told you like that. Though there are some instances where some people can have read something that even the criminal aspect of it does not even exist in Ekiti State. That has been repealed by the laws of the criminal law of Ekiti State 2021 that was passed, that has repealed that of 2012.
So it's not a criminal case?
Yes, they say it's not even a criminal case
in Ekiti.
in Ekiti State. That's what they are saying. And if it's not a criminal case in the state, then why did the police have to bundle Dele Farotimi to all the way from Lagos to Ekiti State to stand trial? I didn't know whether a criminal case can be filed. It's not. Though it should be filed where the jurisdiction, that is the court that has jurisdiction, that is where that criminal offense has been committed. That's why you file it. But being the publication that we are talking about, some people may say that it has been published to them in the Ekiti State also. Even the Ekiti State will not have had jurisdiction in this matter. I mean, it's another criminal case that was committed in Lagos State, not like this defamation of a thing. The Ekiti State will not even have had any jurisdiction to do that. So the manner in which he was now bundled, arrested in Lagos and taken to Ekiti State is another thing. Though he's from Ekiti State, but people are reading meaning that why they will, even not for the arrest. I didn't know what the arrest that was done and taken and charged, and he was charged to court immediately the second day. I believe nobody would have had so many of these things. It wouldn't have gone viral. And look at what happened. He was not granted bail in a bailable offense,
which is kind of
yes, it was not granted. We all know that it's just at times it can fall even under misdemeanor, under the law, misdemeanor, in which an offense that is even less than 3 years,
which it can easily be granted.
Yes, it can be granted bail. So why did he not granted bail? He was not granted bail. So people now raise suspicion that what's going on? Is it because of whether they have some personal maybe things between the RA and DF before? Because Dele Farotimi won't sue Baba. But the case was not. I think was not completed. It was not concluded. The case. It won't sue on the same defamation that we are talking about, civil. That one was civil. So people are now really meaning that what must have happened? What must have happened that?
Now, considering they're actually gearing towards making it a criminal case, does that make his arrest illegal?
No, it does not make it illegal.
Why doesn't it make it illegal?
It doesn't make it. I've told you that it's also criminal. You can say that we are just acting on that. This is a criminal offense here, according to the law they were using. That was why, and he was arraigned. But the legality now and the jurisdiction, I believe that the jurisdiction of when the case came up today, they challenged the jurisdiction of the court. They brought the lawyers to Dele Farotimi, brought an application to challenge the jurisdiction that the magistrate court in the Ekiti State does not have jurisdiction to try it. I think they will rule on that. They will rule on that later on, because it was not granted bail today by the magistrate court. The case was the bail application was adjourned to December 20 today as I speak with you. So the bail application will be adjourned to December 20 now. And in a case which you can ordinarily grant bail, then you will now be asking that what is fishing here, for God's sake. Everybody will ask, even lawyers will ask across. You are to be fair, you will ask that, because the granting bail is at the discretion of the judge or the magistrate, which should be exercised judicially and judiciously. But what we are saying is that this is a simple case in which you can easily grant, and due to the personality of Dele Farotimi, It's also of a personality in Nigeria. Then he can be even granted bail even on personal recognition, on liberal times. Go and do this, go and do that. So people will be thinking that even though that there is something behind this, then why do you have to postpone his bail? I believe they said they amended the charge today. The charge was amended. I think about 2 counts was dropped from the charge. Then the magistrate now says it's going to rule on it. So why you ought to have granted, even if it was granted bail as at the last adjourned date, and if the charge is amended again, then he could still stand even on his former bail. It's a simple thing. He can still stand on his former bail. So I wouldn't know why he was not granted bail again.
You know, what I want to go into majorly is the place of where people are talking about the place of the bad blood. I was, all through the week trying to check past history, check the book, check their history together. They had both fought against each other in the courts, looking at cases. And Dele Farotimi in an interview recently with Sheon Kimbaloye, he opened up on some issues between himself and Are, talking about the fact that there was a particular time where they both had the case, and because of the judge was not a friend to wasn't his friend, that is Dele Farotimi, he used to be his former employer. Then at the time they stopped talking, and the judge was the one to rule over a case that was between himself and Are. And since then, that was a case that happened in 2003, and since then that's where their issue began and all those kind of things. Now Dele Farotimi's accusation majorly was attached to the fact that Are is so powerful to a point that he himself is one of those spearheading corruption in the judicial system, which is something that Are himself decided to take upon himself to, tackle Dele Farotimi. And over the time from my research, I discovered that this is not the first time Dele Farotimi will go headlong to say this about a person of Are. In fact, in the book, it wasn't so clear or glaringly mentioned that Afe Babalola was the person who was addressing. So looking at it, this issue of bad blood and the fact that the way the arrest came to play, would you agree with a cross section of people that may be in the judiciary, because people are beginning to bring issues of even political matters, and some even celebrities who, due to the case of as simple as defamation, though defamation is not simple, like you carefully stated that it has the criminal, it has the civil. We recently saw what Burna Boy did with the person with Speed Darlington, where on a case of defamation as well, he just locked him up somewhere for some time and later he was granted bail. So don't you think influence like this is getting too much in the part of the judiciary? It should not be permitted? Or though someone came out to talk about the fact that Afe Babalola said it was the police that took it out in an extrajudicial manner. But what's your own take on this place of influence in the judiciary to perpetrate what some people will term as bullying of younger officers or people of less status?
Well, like I also said, I said something like this in this program, that you cannot rule it out that some people, they are so powerful in the legal profession. You cannot rule them out. And even we lawyers, we have been saying that in different fora, that what we believe should be done is that justice should be done at all time. At times, even this law we are practicing, 2 + 2 will be 4. You cannot, there's no way, you cannot call it 5 or call it 3. 2 + 2 will always be 4. So when an issue came up in this, in principles of law, I'm talking about on giving judgment in anything we are doing, 2 + 2 will always be 4. In that kind of people, it should be like that. But when in a matter where 2 + 2 should be 4, and you can see a judge saying this 2 + 2 should be 5, or this 2 + 2 should be 3, then you now guess that what is going on. What was going on here? Even I've been in court of appeal, where the presiding justice in that case even tried to, he was telling a lawyer that is going to sanction him if he dare move the motion in which he brought before the court, because it's so clear It was something that was so clear. It was this kind of an election petition where the time had lapsed. 14 days in which you have to file your in a pre-election matter. You have your file all your processes, and you do not file it. Then you are bringing a motion to regularize that process in a pre-election matter. It was a new. You can't do that. So you know this law, but you want to move this course to do the unthinkable. That's the example I'm citing, like 2 + 2. It should be 4 there. So there's nothing. He said, if you dare move this, I'm going to sanction. He's a senior lawyer. He said, I'm going to sanction you. And he immediately recoiled. So there's no way you can rule out influence in this judicial system we are talking about. There's no, but that's what we have been fighting for. That's what we have been also fighting, that their justice is done the way it should be done. There should not be a way of influencing things or going through. And I've said that you cannot rule it out. Some powerful influence in law, you cannot getting judgment or getting this, getting that, because in a way at times a judge, a learned jurist is of a blessed memory, used to say in this our jurisdiction that a judge is a cover. So in that time, when you say a judge is a cover, now that you can carve it this way, there are some cases at times that are just on a balance. So if influence come in with, then they can easily switch to the side of that person instead of looking at it again, do a very good research very well on that judgment, and try to balance the scale and make sure the justice is done in that way. But since it's neither way or neither here, then it's easily for a judge to just switch to the other side if it has been influenced one way or the other, which I've said that it cannot be ruled out. There are powerful people. You have even governments are there. You have your employer, people are there. Your connection, your everything. So you cannot read. And they have been saving all these retired justices of the Supreme Court. They have said it in different fora that justice should be. We should try to maintain justice. I've seen even in the case where they lampoon some of these big people in the society in their judgment. An example is the Oyodiri case in Bayelsa in 2020.
2020, yeah.
Yes.
That when Leon.
Yes, that and restore Oyodiri, I think.
As the governor, yes.
As the governor of Bayelsa State there. When the apex court, the Supreme Court, they have already passed their judgment. We have returned the governor there, but the powerful people in the legal process say we are going to apply for that the judgment should be varied. The learned Afe Babalola is saying participated in that. He brought a motion, and the learned chief, the powerful chief Ola also, they brought the motion, 2 motions to court. And I still recall, I can even read it to you in my system here, what the learned Justice Amina Oge, now retired, said about those applications. The learned jurist was not happy with the application in which the two learned yes, which they brought to court, in which she said that he was with tears that this learned senior advocates, learned senior who should know more, can bring this kind of an application to the court in order to destroy, which is capable, the applications that are capable of destroying the esteem which this court is made of. So the learned jurists went ahead to say that this application is frivolous, vexatious, and abuse of court process. Then he now dismissed the 2 applications and awarded costs to be paid personally by the counsels who brought this motion, the motions to court. It is there. It is in the public glare. So that means something can be influenced. Only God knows what might have gone under. So in all those instances,
So
we don't
from
know.
your
So
perspective,
we cannot rule out exerting influence. Had it been whether if the learned jurists and the jury, you know, about several of them sat, but was read by Pa Amina Oge, retired now, read the lead judgment in that. We don't know if, for instance, if the judgment had gone the other way, then your grace is as good as mine. Your grace is as good as mine.
Now,
so that's why that you cannot just answer your that there is no way you can remove influence
Just
from.
before we go for a short break, briefly, I tend to poke a little. I want to poke a little as to, do you think this tend to expose the a little or broad complexity of our laws in Nigeria? Because I see many of your colleagues, some for, some against. They tend to say it's the no while you have to leave Ekiti, you know, to Lagos State, or pick someone, you know, from one state to the other state just in order to prosecute the person in order, you know, in line with the jurisdiction of that state. Some believe it's a no. Some believe it's actually normal. It could happen and all that. I don't know your view. I don't know why we tend to expose our complexity when it comes to Nigerian law. You know, why the same colleagues, you know, your colleagues, some will say it doesn't count, some are saying no, it's really okay. But before you jump,
that's why we are lawyers anyway. We tend to hold different opinions.
Yeah, everybody holds opinions actually.
Especially in a way where you can just marshal an opinion on this level, and also marshal opinion in another way.
You're coming to
that's what I'm talking about.
You're coming to your opinion just after the short break. So quickly we'll go on. We'll get back. We hear the opinion of Barrister Thompson and Akinyemi here on Daybreak Africa. Please stay tuned. Back to the discourse for the day. We were talking about the little or broad complexity when it comes to Nigerian law, and how this case or this fiasco tends to really expose this complexity, and it tends to really bring a tug of war between colleagues, you know, in the firm.
Actually, as people are fighting there,
and so we then
practitioners are discussing
at this point the whole legality of, you know, jumping from one state to another state, arresting someone from the other state just in order to prosecute the person in accordance to the jurisdiction of this state. You know, what's your opinion? What's your take on this? If at all there's even a balance.
That's why we are lawyers, like I've said earlier. Lawyers tend to have different opinions. There is no way law itself, the way I as a lawyer will see it, another person may not see it that way.
Yeah.
And also it depends on the circumstance of a case, the facts that are available, and the laws that are guiding such an instance. That's why we tend to disagree at times. But the juries are there, the judges, the justices, they want to sit on there, the umpire who will sit on it and look at it very well. They will look at it dispassionately in order to be able to arrive at a just conclusion. That's what you call justice. At a just, they will look at it very well instead of the sentiment which I'm holding. People have been holding opinion about this, what will happen between the learned, our colossus in this profession. Afe Babalola, the senior advocate of Nigeria, and Dele Farotimi. Some lawyers have heard different opinions. But that's how we are. We need to. But it is the judge who will preside, or the majority who will preside over all this. They will decide at the end of the day what has really happened, and what we believe, and which some of us which are holding up to, and which we realize that justice must be done. If justice is done, even the society itself will be better. But when society itself feels that justice is not being done, it is then people take laws into their hand. It is then that society is doomed, and at the end of the day, when people start to take laws into their hands, when they believe that when they go to court, they will not get justice. Even we are still crying about even that justice that is being delayed, that is being delayed. We should accelerate justice. We should get justice on time, so that people will not be taking laws into their hands again, and they will believe in the sanctity. And so we are still talking about delayed justice. So if now people now tend to believe that you won't get justice, that look at how this person is being treated, look at how that person has been treated in this case. So something like that has happened to you. Then if I'm treated that way, I'm not going to get justice. Then people, that society is doomed. Like I said, people will start to, and even in the international community, such a society will not be respected. It will not be respected. So lawyers, we have different opinions, but we still hold it very much to our juries, the magistrates, the judges, to make sure that justice is done. Let them look at it very well. Let them look at it. Anybody might have said whatever they like the bundling of Dele Farotimi now. For instance, he could as well be invited. I didn't know he was invited.
And he did not accept the invite.
He could have been invited by the police, whether send a text to him. Then the police would have been justified now that, look, we invited this guy, but he did not come. To come to we invited. This is our invitation letter to him. But the police would have been justified. Well, he was invited, but he did not answer their invitation now. So they have the right to go and arrest him there. So that's some of us we did not like the way he was arrested like that and taken to Ezekiel like that, and he was even handcuffed when he was brought to court. Yes, he was handcuffed, which was supposed to be. The principle of law is that an accused person must be arraigned freely without any handcuff or any restraint. Should not be restrained. Even if somebody is to be arrested and the person has not shown any violence or any threat to anybody, and then the person can just go freely. And more so, somebody that is known. I know something that happened to the opinion like that will not have happened in these advanced countries. It will not. They won't do that. I mean, in democracy, in real democracy of the world, they won't do that. But not in Nigeria. We are in Nigeria where all our institutions, they are the teeth towards the government. The teeth towards the government. So that's why that's where the problem comes from.
So it's good you agree with the fact that his arrest, the manner of arrest, is wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong. Yeah, the
fact that it was handcuffed.
I mean, they have invited him. Then he did not come. It's no hand. Then you can come and bundle him. The police or the security agents, they have right to even bundle or break into a house. If the person is receiving arrest, they have that authority. If you have been arrested, you did not come, and you are receiving arrest, they can search everywhere in your house to make sure they fish that person out, because they have given you opportunity which he violated.
And since he had violated it, they should have gone through that process.
Yes.
But it's good you agree with the fact that.
So that's why we have that different opinions. Yeah. Lawyers, I'll hold my own. You hold your
own. Well, now let's focus on the thing called defamation itself, because now I think now that you have agreed with the fact that the arrest was wrong and this is wrong, and to a very large extent you've opened us up to us about the fact that influences can be present even in the judicial system.
Exact influence, yes.
Exact influence and all that. But let's talk about defamation now to an extent, because in fairness to anyone, truthfully, Nigerian constitution states that there is freedom of speech and there is freedom of expression. But then, like you said, libel, defamation, slander are things that are very punishable. Like people will say freedom of after speech. I can't really assure you about that. But now, looking at it from the angle of defamation, I've seen some opinions on social media where some will say that as an activist you should be permitted to say whatever. Do you feel, because many times people go on social media anytime issues like this happen and they say because of you have influence, you are exerting your influence and bullying him for speaking his mind and all that. Where does the thin line becomes drawn when it comes to the place of defamation? What do you, in your own terms?
Yeah, let me say this. There is freedom of speech. Yes, it's guaranteed by our constitution. Very well. You can say what you like. This is a media house now. People say newspapers or even our this thing, the handset, the internet,
social media generally.
But there should be a line should be drawn. Even that we have that speech, freedom of speech, from not disparaging. You cannot disparage people. You cannot say, because you have a free speech, to be calling somebody thief, that you have gone to steal something there. You can, especially when you publish it. It is wrong. That person will be prosecuted. Or you sue that person for criminal libel, for you to get a substantial damage from that person having read you. So that we have free speech. The free speech we are talking about is just to tell us what is going on. There's freedom of information. There's freedom of information act also. You can get information from people. You can also say whatever you look at. You can reveal secret which people are hiding, which is the truth. If it is the truth, you can reveal their secrets. You can write something about. You can expose them, like in journalism now. We also there's what we call even investigative journalism, in which you probe into things. You want to the government circles,
even secret.
expose their corruption. Anywhere in the institutions, everywhere, expose their. It is allowed, but not when you know that if something is not true, then you are saying it to despise somebody or to cast aspersion of that person. That's when it becomes criminal. It becomes criminal, or it becomes defamation, in which the person can proceed against that person who has made that unsubstantiated allegation against him, and proceed to against that person in court. And what we are talking about, like libel or defamation generally, the defense usually is you can have a defense of justification, which we believe seriously in. Justification that if you say you are publishing a thing that this person has done this thing, has done this, has done that, has done that, you must be able to justify
the statement you made.
Yes, that person, the other statement you have. If you are able to justify, yes, I stand by what I have said. This is what happened. This is what justification can. This is what happened. You can bring instances. Like this case of defamation now can bring out so many dirty things in the past for many body, in which whether you have even forgotten about before, they will just bring it out for that person to justify himself that what I've said, what I've said here is the truth. So it can happen that way. The defense of justification. If it is slander now, slander normally, a case of slander in defamation, they used to throw out. I've done so many like that. It will be thrown out from the court because anything that must have come up from when the passion is hot, in the heat of passion.
And you made
you are fighting with somebody now. You are saying, this person is a thief. He has gone to steal this thing here. He has gone because you are fighting. I don't think that will not be. Is not. You cannot grant that for defamation under slander. It's just a use of vulgar language.
Vulgar language.
Vulgar language. Use of saying this person under the. You will see even women when they are fighting at times, whether neighbors or something, they will be saying that. I've seen somebody who sue like that, but she could not got. He was saying that the person alleged that the child, her last born, was not born by her husband, but by another person. They were those are vulgar language when they are fighting. So you cannot really grant that. Yes.
So the fact that it was printed,
but they are not fighting. No, you just when person goes to another person, not in the heat of passion, then try to go and despite that person, to go and say something that was not true about that person. Then the person can come. If the person can come as a witness to come as, yes, he said it before me, and the one day I wasn't. So that person can get a very good case on slander against such a person.
Very good case of slander.
But on libel, it's published. It's published. So if the person can justify, and if there are instances, bring out the past about that person, bring out what instances, circumstances.
Now, knowing this book in question
can be justified.
Is now bestsellers. Now there's like
because of the way it has gone,
scandal went up,
has gone viral.
So knowing it's not a bestseller, what if a very big what if? A very big what if? What if, say, Afe Babalola is found guilty? What then happens?
If it is guilty of this offense, someone that is guilty, the next is to convict that person.
But then the spread information is already out. What then happens? I mean, you can't really control the reactions. The books are already.
And that is at times, even no matter what you do, what has been registered in the mind of the people about that thing is you cannot remove it. The opinion that it has shaped you may not be able to remove it, even if he's convicted and sentenced to and jail. That was why I said the other time that whether the learned, the Afe Babalola, SCN, a very big giant who have whether call the guy to order, call Dele Farotimi to order, or ask some of his counsel. It's a big person to file maybe a civil suit against him, instead of the way the thing has gone viral like this. That was why I had one of the reasons why I hold that opinion. It's not that normal for it not to, because as it has gone viral now, some people, I know that they are now buying the book that before those who have bought the books, they are not even up to 40 people.
Now it's a bestseller.
But it's a bestseller. I know thousands must have gotten hold of it.
Even millions would have gotten hold of the book actually. Now, someone talked about.
So it may be difficult to erase from the mind.
Though someone talked about something recently and said the book itself is termed Nigeria and its criminal justice system, which was an attempt to point out to many criminal activities happening within Nigeria's justice system, which brings me back to some of the questions I would like to ask. You being a former leading officer in the NBA itself, which is the Nigerian Bar Association, and practitioner for years and all that, and looking at the fact that from the beginning of our discussion, you talked about something very vital there, that there can be influences, there can be inferences. We've seen issues even in Nigeria. You pointed out one of that such case, talking about the fact that the 2020 justice of
the Supreme Court
in Bayelsa case. If you observe very well, Bayelsa's case was not the only very controversial case from 2019 to 2020. We experienced that of Imo State. Imo State was even more controversial. Opus Odima was the fourth, and it became the winner at the end of the day after the whole justice case and everything. And all those kind of things, pointed out across. We've seen what is happening in Rivers State currently. Rivers State is even one of the states that their allocations are being held because of the rulings of a particular court in Nigeria, and lots of things. Like, people have been talking about the fact that even during political matters, we have judgments and counter judgments, which sometimes has become very difficult for INEC to even decide on which one to follow. Now, looking at it, what's your take on Dele Farotimi's take on Nigeria's judicial system? Yes, he pointed out a personality which currently is in court, but do you think many of the issues he raised in his book are supposed to be looked into rather than just, taking up legal cases against him at this particular time?
Well, like I've said, the Supreme Court is the apex court in Nigeria. Nobody can question them, and that was what Barr Ogar, a retired justice of the Supreme Court, said. I think my lordship retired about 2 years ago or so, or 3 years ago, or thereabouts. So when you're talking about Supreme Court, it's the final. You don't question. And what happened then about the learned SCNs who went there, who went to go and who brought an application for the variation, really annoyed, must have annoyed somebody. Was for a learned you to say, I'm in my tears, with my tears, to be saying that about the learned senior advocates of Nigeria. I know that because we all know as lawyers that it's the apex court. You don't question them. You cannot, even if they make an error, there's no way you can question them. You cannot question them. So that is it about that. But for what has happened between this DF now and Chief Afe Babalola, the senior advocate of Nigeria, is that being that the learned jurist, the learned Baba is is an erudite, very big, is a gigantor in legal profession in Nigeria here. Whether, in my own opinion, and that's what I've said the other time, that whether Baba should just have maybe taken it, whether just lightly or something like that, though nobody would like if it's being disparaged, and in your mind that No, I didn't do anything wrong. I've never exerted any influence on the judgments or the Supreme Court or anywhere at all. If then and this person has described me up to this level, has defamed me, then I want to take my pound of flesh or something from him. Well, Baba is justified to have done anything like that. But what I'm saying is that if Baba had taken it the other way, like just ask some of your lawyers to fight in a civil suit, then all this public glare, all this vile nature of this matter wouldn't have gone so much like this. All this hues and cry. And the guy, the driver, is still in detention as we speak.
As we speak here,
still in detention. I said that the magistrate court did not grant him bail. He adjourned it in. That's the latest. I wish I had from our law blogs and some other things. Now that his bail application has been adjourned. So when people say that it is still part of that influence that is still going on, people will be thinking that is it for a case of defamation, libel, which is a bailable offense. You see our social media, you'll be seeing people even comparing it that what about the people who even stole our billions, the corrupt cases, and they are working freely. They give them bail instantly. Those who have stolen our Nigerian money, billions. At least a person who is a human rights, he has been fighting for people, he has been doing that before. And he's being hunted in prison in a kind of a case where ordinarily bail ought to have been granted to him. So why people will be thinking that's my own, like I'm thinking, people are thinking it, why should he continue to be held? And I say that it's a bailable offense. Apart from being a bailable offense, he ought to have granted bail on the first day he was charged to court. You ought to have granted bail. Even if you amend the charge then you ask him to take his plea again, then he remains on his former bail. I learned a senior advocate first appeared for him today when the case came up, which I believe the learned senior advocate ought not to have done that. We know that a senior advocate of Nigeria cannot appear in the magistrate court. That is the law. That's our law in Nigeria here. If you are a senior advocate of Nigeria, you cannot appear.
Because of course you don't appear
for a person. Yes, you cannot appear. They only appear on court of records. That is from High Court. So, but the learned senior advocate withdrew. There are some younger lawyers now who are not senior advocate now took over. Then they presented the charge, the amendment one day. They now move for a bail application. So, I don't know. He ought to have been granted bail. Honestly, that's my own
take on it.
But my own take on it.
Where I was trying to
even if the bail condition is somehow stringent, should be granted bail. Then already they go and perfect it.
Where I'm trying to just push my own narratives to is the fact that now the matter is way exposed. The title of the book is a bestseller everywhere across the world now. People are looking at the book, and the title of the book itself is more like a bad PR to Nigeria as a country and even the judicial system in the country. How does the judiciary go from here? Don't you think that top personalities within the country, top lawyers, should be currently, talking to both parties to ensure either the book is taken down or the matter is resolved, just on the low level? Because as we speak, even with the way the matter is going up, it's giving a bit of credence to what Dele Farotimi pointed out in the book. It used to just be the issue between them is just maybe 254 hectares of land case. From now it's becoming a national and an international issue. So
just a case on land.
So how did the judiciary go from here as we round up?
It's a lesson. I believe there is no perfect institution. Even in Nigeria, all decisions, be it the judiciary, even our legal system, there's no perfect institution here. So it's a lesson that everybody should sit tight to look at what we can do. Every one of us that is involved in this, in the legal system, Nigerian legal system, be it you are a judge, justices, magistrate, the judiciary, then legally, then we, the lawyers also, we should also start to make this system work very well. we should examine ourselves very well to make sure we don't contribute to the bad image which some people are given to the legal profession and to the judiciary. We should look at, because this is the only profession we have. We don't destroy. It's not good to destroy this profession. If people, public, if they continue to perceive that where you are going you cannot get justice, or as a lawyer that they are not, they don't uphold the truth, that they are there lying, which happens. We cannot rule out. We are not all lawyers. We are not innocent. You have senior lawyers. You have junior lawyers who will, even the crime they will commit itself is even greater than even some public people outside who don't even know anything about law. So what we are talking about, this criminal justice system, is that we should all examine ourselves. Let's examine one another. Let's check whoever that is even bringing a disrepute to the profession. Let us check them and make sure. And we have disciplinary bodies like APDC now, the disciplinary committee. They have been sanctioning lawyers who are misbehaving, who are not doing very well, who are not even taking the cases of their client very well. They discipline them. Also, we also have the all-powerful NJC, National Judicial Council, who is to discipline the judges or justice or whoever woman have heard. As at this last November, they discipline some judges in Nigeria here. They discipline them. They do, and that's how they have been doing it. Maybe this institution also should be more enhanced. Should be brought more enhanced so that we can have sanity in our system generally.
Well, thanks so much, sir, for being a part of these discussions. We really appreciate it. It's left to see what the case is still going to bring out. We are still getting more updates from it, and it's still a very topical issue across the country. Maybe next time we'll also look deeper into it. Thanks so much again, Barrister Thompson Akinyemi, for being a part of these discussions.
And with that, we come to an end for the show for the morning. But of course, we'll be here same time, same station tomorrow morning. You do have a wonderful day. I remain Ezekiel, Ogar.
And my name is Ikhonede Joshua Yodeji. Do have a nice day. See you later. Bye.